Leigh Whannell is as Australian as a shrimp on the barbie and alcohol abuse in Bali. So it pains me to have to stab him in this review, but at least I'll do it in the front. Wolfman is a waste of 90 minutes, and you absolutely should not bother seeing it in theatres. You will be much happier going to the gym, taking a dip in the ocean, or getting blackout drunk and calling your ex-girlfriend. I highly recommend leaving a voicemail on her phone of you singing Closing Time by Semisonic as a way of winning her back. Wolfman is boring and lifeless, with a very sloppily pieced together theme that'll make you go, next, as the credits roll. Whannell's work on Upgrade and The Invisible Man was fun, competent, and ideal for the genre space in the 21st century, as it wasn't a complete rehash of elements you've seen before. Yes, there are tropes, but there was also an effort to make it feel fresh. Wolfman, on the other hand, feels very hastily put together on a script level, and devoid of anything which might make you think, I don't believe I've seen it done quite like that before. Every vampire, zombie, werewolf transformation sequence you've seen on film and TV in the past is present here, and it really does make for a tough slog because there's nothing novel to keep you watching. To be clear, tropes are inevitable, fine, normal, but at least try to surprise the viewer with something fresh. Furthermore, the emotional beats of the film fall flat, as I'll touch on shortly, so there's really nothing in the picture to affect you, especially when the thrills and chills are almost non-existent in this supposed horror film. Now our story follows Blake, his wife Charlotte, and their daughter Ginger as they leave San Francisco to visit Blake's childhood home in remote Oregon. Blake's father has recently passed away and he's in between jobs, so he spends his days being a very attentive father while his wife works hard to pay for the family. This has naturally caused issues, especially due to Blake's apparent deep-seated anger, much like his father before him, and so the couple isn't on the best of terms. They hope time away might be a good opportunity for them to reconnect. Unfortunately, they're attacked by a monster literally upon arrival at the rural cabin, run off the road and forced to hide for fear of their life. To make matters worse, Blake is bitten by this unknown assailant and begins to deteriorate rapidly. Will they survive? And just what exactly is stalking them in the mountains of Oregon? Now, the central theme is very, very simple. A father wants to protect his child from harm, yet possesses serious character flaws, in this case anger, which could cause the kid more problems down the line in life. This flaw, personified through the werewolf transformation, affects Blake and his father. So will it also claim Blake's family, or can such a curse be broken? Blah, blah, blah. You can already guess what happens from that setup. If I was feeling generous, then I could say Wolfman has a very topical theme as the flaws of the boomer grandparent threaten to destroy the Gen Alpha daughter unless the millennial father can sacrifice himself to ensure her survival. That's kinda interesting and certainly something that many millennial parents like myself can identify with. Unfortunately, this is only briefly highlighted when we see Blake's rough parenting and then Blake trying to restrain his anger against his daughter at the start of the film, so it isn't very strongly articulated. Furthermore, the original Wolfman saw the father murder the son in the end, so this is a nice twist which suggests that we may finally escape from Kronos devouring his children and give Gen Alpha a shot at peace. It's still a tragedy about young men getting shafted though, but at least in this instance they have progeny to carry on their genes. I might be reading too much into the picture though. The best and worst part of Wolfman is the cast. Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner are character actors through and through, and they make the film feel far more indie than it ought to be. I liked Abbott as Blake and think he has the X factor which makes for a truly engaging actor. There's a rawness alongside the good looks that allow him to inhabit more complicated emotions. Garner plays Charlotte as a desperate mother stuck in a lose-lose situation as she needs to be the breadwinner, yet is then shamed for not having a stronger relationship with her daughter. Now the script wants this to be heart-rending, and it really ought to be, but unfortunately it just doesn't work. Here we have a story of a man who wants to keep his family together, a woman who feels like she's failed as a mother, a daughter who can sense the fraying edges of their parents' relationship and yearns for it to be better. This is quintessential indie drama stuff, and Wolfman could call itself the genre version of Blue Valentine, for instance, if they had better executed. The fact that at one point Derek Cianfrance and Ryan Gosling were going to make this film, which would have been interesting, makes that a fun little tidbit. Unfortunately, while Abbott can play monstrous and loving, Garner tends to come across as a jerk. She should be a very sympathetic character, but the snarkiness which made her so much fun to watch in Ozark and Inventing Anna leaks out and ruins the illusion. So while I think Abbott was a solid choice, I thoroughly disagree with putting Garner in this type of role. As a reminder, most actors don't have a large range. You typecast someone because just as an athlete might be great in the pool but awful on the track, so too are most actors only impressive so long as they stay in their lane. Yes, there are of course exceptions, but those types are very rare, which is why we laud them. Garner doesn't, at least to me, have the ability to play loving wife and mother. While we can believe her as a workaholic and certainly feel for her when she is embarrassed or ashamed, scenes where she must comfort her dying husband or console her distraught daughter just don't land. This plays a big part in hurting the film because the family drama is supposed to be the meat of the picture, and it felt to me like Charlotte was just itching to let her husband die, even if the script has been written to show us otherwise. Now, the movie is competently directed and shot, so there should be no shame amongst the creative team in that regard. The monster design was not to my liking though, as it reminded me of Sonic the Hedgehog before the fan outcry. So all up, Wolfman is a lame and predictable script, hampered with a poor choice in their female lead. It's the same tedious transformation narrative that you've seen in zombie, vampire, and werewolf stories, as I mentioned, without any other element to hook you, such as a family drama you'd really feel like being invested in, or a whole lot of gory murder sequences in the backwoods of Oregon that could get your blood pumping. If you had corrected these two errors before the film went into production, then you could have had a stronger finished product. As it stands, I really think this film will fade fast and not have anywhere near the ongoing love Whannell's The Invisible Man received. Thanks for watching.